Hello and welcome. This is Nikki Plans. You are in the right spot. We are making a junk journal. We are going from this to this beautiful thing here. And of course, this is only part one. We are going to do part two in about a week or so. And we are going to decorate this and make this our own little junk journal. We're going to add the inserts and some embellishments on the side so the white right here don't show. I am super excited, and if you want to see how I created this, make sure you keep watching because here we go. I have two plain pieces of cardstock here. This is by Pen & Gear, and this is the 110-pound paper, which I really like to make these. And I just have a very flimsy cardboard piece here that we're going to make that out of. Let's get started. I'm so excited. First thing I have here is my cutting board. So we're going to undo this, and I'm going to measure this. To measure this the best, I'm going to flip this over so I get an accurate reading here. And what I want to do is I want to find the middle. So this is, let's see here, this is 11 inches total. So I got to figure out what size I want to make this. Let's see. I think I want to do 10. Let's grab a marker here and mark that. And then the width, I would like, let's do the width 8. And they did not cut this straight. That's all right. We're about to. So, okay, so we're going to go 10 by 8. Now that we got that cut, it is 9 by 7. Now what I like to do is just measure right in the middle. So we got 9, so it's 4.5 right in the middle. Okay, so what we're going to do here is I'm going to get my hand cream out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to take a very thin marker and I am going to cut. So it's 4.5. So I'm going to do 1/4 and 1/8 is where I'm going to cut this. Or I'm sorry, 4 1/8, and I'm going to cut 4 7/8. Man, I cannot talk. So I'm going to cut that. So that is going to be the spine of the book. Now it's going to look like that. Now we can go ahead and get rid of this for a moment. You are going to need some Mod Podge for this, and I got a little brush that I got from the dollar store that I've been using. And what we're going to do here is we're going to try and use one piece of paper and kind of line this up right in the middle. I'll get my Mod Podge out of the way so you guys can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so I have that. Okay, one piece of paper is going to work for this. Oh my gosh, I think this is the first time I've got one to work for one piece of paper. All right, cool. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is kind of line this up and put it on there kind of even. Try and get it as even as possible. Okay, now I'm going to take my painter's tape here. And I am going to put this together with that. Now what you want to do is you want to get this full of glue. So we're going to take our Mod Podge here and our little sponge. And all I do here is get this nice and wet and then bring it right over the paper. Doesn't matter if you grab a lot because you are going to be using more than that. Because now what you're going to do is you're going to lay this flat on that paper and push it down and kind of position it. And you want to try and hurry when you position it because this glue dries fairly quickly. Now what I do is I turn that over and I take my bone folder and I just try and get all the air bubbles out of there so this looks nice and sleek. Now you can use a marker to do this, you can use a pencil, you can use whatever you have to do this. Now whatever is underneath this paper you are going to have glue on, so make sure it's nothing you want to kind of keep clean. Okay, now that that is done, you want to turn that back over. See what I mean? You get glue everywhere because it kind of seeps out the sides. And then I just like to dry it with my finger. It's very easy to come off. So now what I'm going to do is just fold this paper up. And do that on all the sides. So you see how we have some corners here? We're going to be cutting those. I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to cut that square out. So now what you're going to do is you're going to fold the sides up, because I like doing that first. And this is where it kind of gets to be a mess because your hands get really gooey with this stuff. And I've noticed if you add more glue to your brush, it's even worse. But you want to make sure this stays down. So, oh, look at that. That works really nice. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to take the excess from that one. All the glue I have on this. Try and spread that out evenly. I'm going to go ahead and take my bone folder and just do the same thing. On both sides. Okay, this is where you can take this tape off now. Take your bone folder or your marker, pencil, whatever you got. Now all I do is I'm really careful and I try to let this sit for a minute just so I know it's fairly dry. And then what you want to do is be very careful bending this up, but you want to bend this up and you want to do it slowly. You don't want to do this too fast or you'll get cracks right through here, and you don't want that because you're not going to cover that up. I mean, if you cover it up, that's fine, but you want to make it as nice as possible. So now we're going to do the other side. And I always hold these parts down here because I want that to look really nice. you want to take your second piece of paper here and you are going to cut it down to size. Now, I normally do one side each and then I do the middle, but I want all of this to look white. So I am going to I'm going to off center this like so. I'm not going to put it over the entire thing. That goes for the top, the bottom, and this side as well. So what I'm going to do here is get my bone folder out of the way, and then all I'm doing is making a little mark with my finger. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark that. Right there. Now what I want to do is mark the bottom, just like that. Now I'm going to go cut that off and that off. Okay, now that that's cut, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of place that right where I want it. So I kind of have a visualization of where I want this. And right there is perfect. So I'm going to get this full of glue. I'm going to take my paper and I'm going to try and position this where I want it. Let it fall and just reposition. And then I'm going to push it down. And like I said, you get glue everywhere, but it does dry on your hands fairly quickly. And yeah, that's okay. Alright. So now I'm just going to kind of press this in. Take my bone folder and just kind of press right where my creases are going to be. Just so it's a little bit easier when I actually go to pull that up. Okay. So, yes, it is still wet, but I am going to do this anyway because I'm trying to show you guys something here. And then what I do is just kind of pull it. Those air bubbles out, and then push that up. Make sure it's the way I want it here. For now, at least we have this set. Okay, the last part I'm going to do in this video is we are going to pick a piece of paper here that we're going to put on that. I'm not sure what one I want to use. That one's cool. Alright, it's probably going to be that one, but ooh, you know what? I like that one. Okay, that's going to be the outside. I have this as the outside, this as the inside. So we're going to take the inside one and set that to the side right now. And I got paint on that, don't matter, I guess. And I like to bend that up because now it's starting to starting to dry a little bit more. All I do here, let's flip that over. Put that on the best we can here. And I'm going to mark this, like right there, and right there. And I'm going to cut those two sides off. And we're going to measure that just to make sure it's correct in the way we want it. And then I'm going to mark it right there and cut that off. With your scraps, you do want to keep these because we are going to be doing something with these later. So hang on to that. Okay. Now, all we're going to do here is kind of reposition this to where we want it. Okay. Now you're going to add your Mod Podge or your regular glue. Doesn't matter, I don't think. I don't know. I haven't used school glue for this. I actually have been using Mod Podge a lot lately for these because it just seems very sturdy when it's dry. Now what we're going to do is position this where we want it on the bottom and then place it down. Okay, now take your bone folder and make sure it's pressed nice and neat. Make sure it's pressed down firmly. And then what you want to do is the same process. Ease that up. And then ease the other side up. Okay. So that is the outside of it. Very nice. Okay. So I am going to go ahead and let that dry for a second, and I will be right back. Now that it's kind of dry, we're going to go ahead and do the inside. And all I do here is kind of the same process, but I am not going to make one big strip. I'm going to make 3 separate strips here. Take your marker, try and get this as even as possible, and mark this where you want to cut. Right there, and then I need one for the middle, and one for this side. Now that we have that, what I'm going to do is just kind of measure this out by seeing it and where I want it. And then you're going to make 3 more cuts. But this time it's going to be a little bit easier because all you got to do is mark 1. Cut this piece. And that's how big you want the other 2 pieces. So all I do is kind of measure that up, line it up, put it in here, straight, close down, and cut. Now they're the same size. And then we're going to put these on. just like that. So let's just do that. I did grab a new sponge while I was waiting for this to dry. And we're just going to kind of put this all over the one side. Okay, now you're going to take your paper, and I always position it to the right or the left, depending on what side I'm doing. And I push that down. Take your bone folder or marker again, pencil, whatever you got, and push that down. Okay, now we're going to do the middle. This, I try not to use a whole lot of glue, and it don't matter if it gets on that page because we almost want it to, just so it has kind of a old feel to it. And then you position this about the same size as the paper here. Now this one, I just use my finger to push it down and get all those air bubbles out. Because if you use your bone folder, you're bound to mess something up. If it's a strip this small anyhow. Okay, now we're going to do the other side, and we are going to be done for the day. Make sure you keep an eye out for part 2 of this video. So all I do is position this to the left here, and then lay it down, make sure it's where I want it, and then just push it down. Okay, now that is done. So now you can just fold it up like usual here. And with the sides and the inserts, the signatures that we're going to be doing that in part 2. And we're going to kind of decorate this so it looks really cute. So until next time, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you for part 2. Bye.